Tanya Malone from the Self-Sufficient Homestead, and welcome back to my kitchen. Guys, last time we were preserving some avocado pears, and I told you I would get back to you about some avo pips and how to use them optimally. Well, that's what we're going to do today, but I might just tell you a few other things first. This week has been hectic, and I can show you why. I have made this avo pip video twice, and I'm redoing it again, and it's just because I was not in the right frame of mind, and I kept falling over my words and everything, and it all went about when you have to make choices in life, and it's really hard choices. Either way, it's a hard choice, and you end up making a choice and you make the wrong choice, and it ends up breaking your heart. So that's what happened this week, and that's why I've done it twice. So I'll still tell you about that. That was really hard for me this week. And you know what encouraged me a lot was everything on the channel, on the previous video of the avos. The comments, guys, you really lifted me up, and you just, you know, motivated me, and it was beautiful comments. I really appreciate every single comment that you make. So thank you for your support. It means the world to me. So let's carry on. Let me tell you more. Okay, so just back to this. This was the first one I did. And you can see the water is pretty clear, but it's bubbly. Did you see that nice big bubble coming up there? So this is fermenting nicely. So today we're going to use fresh pips again. But I wanted to tell you about this pip because we were talking about it the other day, and we were just briefly saying a few things. But we were talking about looking at food differently and understanding that for instance, this avo, this is food, but then we think this is not. And we need to start really changing our mindsets and start thinking, what can we do with every single part of a fruit, a vegetable, an animal that we harvest, etc. So we can use it optimally. So, and some of them come with challenges. I mean, this thing is rock hard. I'm not going to eat it just like this. So we have to do something with it to change it so it is something that we can take in. And by the way, there's some flies here. It's getting into summer. We've got flies because we've got cows around the house, horses around the house, other animals. So if you see a fly, it's a farm, guys. So just ignore the fly. So this little pip, it counteracts like sugar in the blood. It reduces cholesterol in the blood. It's anti-inflammatory. It's antioxidant. It is anti-neurogenerative. It's antimicrobial. So it's so packed with good stuff for your body. It's also, because of the vitamin content, it's good for your vision. It's good for your circulatory system. And it's good for your nervous system. So something that we want to include on our diet. But like with the cauliflower that we spoke about last week, we said something about the phosphorophane in cauliflowers is 10 times higher in your raw cauliflower than your cooked cauliflower. But if you eat it raw, you're not necessarily going to get the benefit of it because of, what did we say? We talked about anti-nutrients. Now in the pip there's also some anti-nutrients. So with the cauliflower, we fermented it. We're going to do exactly the same with our pip. We're going to cut it up and we're going to ferment it, and then, oh, we've got a dog chasing flies here at the back. It's like his personal toys. Anyway, so with the pips, we're going to do the same. We are going to get rid of 50 to 95% of the anti-nutrients in an avocado pip by fermenting it. So that's what I'm going to show you today. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take off as much of this brown outer layer that I can. And if I can't, I'm just going to leave it in any case. So it's just so it doesn't float around in the ferment. And I had one avo hide away in the racks at the back here that I did not see. So this one is probably ruined. But I think the compost heap, the worms and stuff will be happy about it. Somebody's going to use it, even though it's not us. I just want to go wash this one. So first thing I do with these are I cut them up into slices, and that is the thinner the slice the better, because then it's just going to ferment easier, and at the end of the day when I dry it, it's going to grind up easier. See, now the outer shells some are coming off. Just going to get as most as possible off of here. Okay, I think that's good enough. So let me just cut these up. Now, let me tell you about what happened this week that was so tough for me. I have the most amazing chickens that have been with me for quite some years. And I've got this huge problem of fleas, chicken fleas. I don't know what you call them actually. We'll just call them chicken fleas because I think you all know what they are all about. And I have been trying to get rid of them. I have tried diatomaceous earth. I have tried neem products. I have tried anything and everything natural. It didn't work. So I went to chemical stuff and I spent thousands on trying to get them clean and they coop clean, and it just did not work. Okay, so I had to make the choice, because for me it's not fair to put poison on the chickens every week. I mean, I don't even want to have that poison on my hand. So how is it fair to put it on the chickens? And I've tried everything possible natural and it's not working. And so I made the decision to cull them, to be kind to them. And that might create some controversy for some people and say that was very bad. But what else was I supposed to do? So it ended up, according to a lot of people, to be the wrong choice, because there are some kind of poisons that they say do work. I did not have them, or did not have knowledge of them. So maybe my decision, which is in my opinion now a bad one, was made because I did not have enough knowledge. And that's really tough for me. I've been crying about my chickens all week. And I think in a lot of things, if we are not informed, we can't make educated decisions. And that's why I generally like to be informed, and I like to understand the whys and the hows behind things. And you'll pick that up on my videos, that how things happen, the science behind it. It's something that I enjoy, because the moment I understand that, then the process is so much easier. So it was a bad choice at the end of the day, because there was other options that I was not aware of. But anyway, so that's what happened to the chickens, and it's just not nice. I don't know. So I'm trying to focus on other things, and now I'm talking about all this. But okay, we're nearly done chopping these avocado pips. These husks will come off in the ferment, but that's okay. We're going to put something on top of it to keep them from popping up. When you do a ferment, you don't want the foods that are inside to be above the water, because then you get mold. So we will just put in a measure to have it under the water. Okay, so I'm nearly done with that. Okay, we're just going to move to the base, and I'm going to show you the jar that I'm going to use and tell you more about that. So when you ferment, it's important to have a clean jar, okay? And it's always good to have it sterilized. So mine I cleaned very well, and I have let it sit with salt water for quite some time. So I'm just going to pour out the salt water, and I'm going to take filtered water and just rinse it. This is reverse osmosis water, so it removes all impurities. And the bad thing about this water, I don't actually drink it. I drink normal borehole water. The bad thing about reverse osmosis water is it removes everything. It doesn't remove just the bad stuff, but it removes the good stuff too. So the minerals and stuff that your body is supposed to get from your water, it's not getting. And that's why it's good if you drink reverse osmosis water to add salt under your tongue, like a good quality Himalayan salt or a Celtic salt, to add minerals back into your body, because otherwise it just actually leaches minerals from your body. Just saying, just to add a bit of info. Right. Now, before we're going to carry on, we also need something else from the garden. We're going to harvest a cabbage, because we're going to use one of the cabbage leaves to make like a little barrier between all these bits, because if you can think about it, this is light, it's going to float to the top, you don't want it to float. So we're going to push down a piece of cabbage onto this and it will keep it down. So let's go get that cabbage. I still have cauliflowers left in the garden that I desperately need to ferment, and I'm not getting chance for that. I need to get to it. So here's a nice cabbage. I'm going to take this one. So what I do with my leaves, I chop and drop. It just changes into mulch, and which changes into compost. And sometimes Joshua will come around and he will pick up the ones that I've thrown down and he will take them to the chickens. So chop and drop works. Either way, it magically disappears, be it Joshua or going to compost. So we were talking about Joshua. I just want to tell you more. I don't think you guys have heard about Joshua yet, unless you're on my group on Facebook, Self-Sufficient Homesteading and Gardening, because he's featured there. Now, Joshua is a mentally challenged young man. He's 22 years old, and he stays and works here. And his history is his mom was a drug addict, and she tried everything to get rid of him when she was pregnant. And if I can't even start to tell you what she's tried, but he ended up with brain damage. He survived all that. Brain damage, but he's working here now, and something that's really amazing that's come from it, because I featured him in some of my videos on the group, and then somebody else said, but we also would like to give a young lady or young man like that a chance to come work for us, because these kids don't get a lot of opportunities. So I phoned the school where he was this morning, called Eureka School in Finalizing. And I said, listen guys, we need somebody else. There's a work available for one of your children. And they were so excited. So you're going to be hearing more about Joshua, because we want to create more awareness about children with disabilities and challenges. I'm getting goosebumps. Woo! We want to create more awareness, and so more people can see that there are these children out there. They're really amazing. I mean, if you've seen what my garden looks like, Joshua is doing his bit in my garden, and he's really making a difference. And they actually, you think you are the blessing, but they are actually the blessing to you, because they teach you such a lot. So, yeah, I'll make some stuff about Joshua so you guys can meet him too. In the meantime, if you want to go meet him, go to Facebook, Self-Sufficient Homesteading and Gardening, and go check out the videos that we've posted. Okay, we've got our cabbage leaf. I've washed it. So just going to cut it smaller, because it's just too big at the moment. Ow, not my finger. I think this one will do, this bit will do. And tonight we'll have some stir fry, so this is going to be really good. Some fresh stir fry. There's some carrots in the garden, and there's some turnips and peas, celery. We can make a mean stir fry for tonight. Bottle clean, right? All your avocado pieces we're going to chuck inside now. And they're nice and thinly sliced. It's really, really good that they're thinly sliced. You can see they've already started to oxidate. Now, oxidation is when oxygen comes into contact with with anything actually. In this case, it's with a pip, and then it starts deteriorating, and it starts, if you leave it longer, it will spoil, obviously. So oxidation is always something that you want to stop. So we're going to stop this oxidation process by putting the brine over. Lost my knife. Oh. Right. So brine, to make the brine, I just take 2 cups of water. This is another thing. If you live in town and you have municipal water, you cannot do the ferments with that, because the chlorine inside that water is going to ruin all the lovely bacteria inside your ferment. So I use borehole water, so that you can use 2, or maybe filtered water. Your reverse osmosis water would actually work because it's clean and it doesn't have chlorine. Alright, so 2 cups of water goes in here. And 1 tablespoon of salt. So this is salt I've already ground up in my mop mill. I love my mop mill. I'll show it to you just now. I'm just going to stir that up. I make sure the salt dissolves really well, because you want the right ratio. With the salt, by the way, the salt helps to kill off any bad bacteria that you don't want, but it's also essential for the development of your lactobacteria. So they want the salty brine, so you need to get it right. Okay, so just giving it a good old stir, and I'm going to pour it over this. Now the oxidation will immediately stop, because there's no air on the pieces anymore. Next step is take our beautiful cabbage leaf, which is too big, and then we cut it more. Right. I've probably filled up this bottle too much, and that's why this is too big now. So we're going to push that down. Now it is absolutely perfect. I push it under the water, and now at the top I just check if I've got any floaters. If I've got floaters, I take it out. So there's a little floater, and I'm just going to get that out, because the floaters are the things that are going to cause mold in your ferment. Now I put more floaters in. Can you believe it? There we go. Come out. So we've got the cabbage leaf totally under the brine. Now the next thing you need to put in is a fermentation weight. Now all my fermentation weights are in use at the moment. So what I will do is, I've got some of these ferments are ready to go out tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll take a weight out and just pass it over to you, but you need to put a fermentation weight on top. That's very important. Okay, next step I do, I take some filter paper. You can take a coffee filter and just close it up, and this will allow it to ferment further. You can do the sealed fermentation as well, but you need to have an air where the gases come out. I'm going to show you quickly here. This, for instance, is a proper fermentation crock. It's filled with cauliflower at the moment. So where the lid is, there's a little ring there, and I've put some olive oil in there. That makes a good seal, and then the gases press out. So this is actually ideal, but this is like your second best option if you do not have a fermentation crock, or your fermentation crocks are full like mine. Now I'm going to leave it for 7 days, and after 7 days I'm going to take it out. I'm going to put it on my dehydrated trays and dehydrate it completely, and then I will just grind it down into a powder, and that will be my Avocado powder. That is 50 to 95% less anti-nutrients in it, and it is filled with all those good nutrients inside that is bioavailable to your body. Alright, so 7 days. Let's put this guy over here. So I might as well just show you what I'm going to do next, because I'm going to do it either with the camera on or off. I need to feed my starters. Somebody asked about a gluten-free starter. So I started making one, and I've got a normal whole wheat starter, so I have to feed both. So you might as well just spend a little bit more time with me while I do that. Feed this one first. You can see it's all nice and bubbly. It's a really nice little starter, and it is very happy. It's well fed and happy. So what I will do is I'm just going to take half of this out. We call that the discard. And I will just mull some grain for it. Mockmeal works really well. Let's put this guy on. I want to make it a little bit finer. And I just need a little bit, so I'm just going to put that small one over there. I've taken a new bottle, added some of the old starter in there. Just going to add my flour. This is probably about 3 tablespoons. I don't work on exact measures. You can. You can work on 50 grams flour, 50 grams water. I don't. But it's probably better to follow good instructions. I just like to do what works for me. And I'm just going to add my water till I've got the right consistency. That's nice, isn't it? But because it's whole wheat, I'm going to add a little bit more water because it kind of sucks up the water. And then you're stuck with a really heavy paste. So that's my gluten starter. And we have to do the gluten-free one quickly. So with the gluten-free, I made it with some millet and some rice, but you can also use teff, buckwheat, sorghum. All of them will work. You can see I've actually tilted it too much, but there was already bubbles forming, and I've only had 1 feed with this guy. So let's just wash our spoon quickly. And I'm just going to discard some of this. So I'm just going to mold the millet and the rice now. So the mockmeal has been cleaned. You clean it with rice. So here goes for the next part. Just going to do it again because I want it nice and fine. I really enjoy using this mockmeal because everything that I use is fresh and it's whole. I nearly forgot to mix this. So let me just mix the rice and the millet quickly. So with a stone mill, like the mockmeal, I can just mull my own stuff and use it immediately, and I've got all that nutrition. We'll still speak about that. I think we should have a baking video where I bake some bread. Maybe use the starters and bake some bread. And we can just chat about the benefits of freshly stone milled flour versus today's stuff that's available in the shops. If you think that's a good idea, just let me know in the comments, and we can carry on with that. And if you want to, well, actually, you've actually seen how to make these now. I wanted to say we can do a tutorial on this, but it's so easy. Just add some flour of your choice with some water till it's a nice paste. And that's exactly what I did. And I'm just going to close it up, and in 24 hours I'll feed it again. So it's going to look fabulous in 24 hours. It's just going to be all bubbly and things. This one seems to be very fast. And yes, it releases carbon dioxide, which gives you a false sense of, oh, it's very active. It is the first part of the process, and then when it doubles in size, I will know that it's ready. So excited about that to help those who cannot have gluten. Anyway guys, thank you for spending time in my kitchen with me. Once again, thank you for all those lovely comments that you gave me on my previous video. I really appreciate it. I mean, the support is just immense. And I'm not sure if you realize how much support we need. People that make this content, it's not always easy, especially when you make stupid decisions. Then your whole week is kind of messed up. So thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, like it. If you want to see more, subscribe. And even share it with a friend if you found it of value. Okay, I'll see you again. Thank you for being in my kitchen with me.